hours. And I always told my clients, you can't take your body from the sedentary 8-hour position to loading it with 300 pounds because you want to go to a class where you feel like you need to power lift. Your body has to be ready for that change. So the way we move all day really matters in making sure that we're setting ourselves up for success when we want to do the weekend warrior.
What if you were the living embodiment of all pervasive peace? What if all sentient beings all around you increase their vibration towards harmony by merely being in your contact? What if, through conscious reasoning, focused will, and intentional living, you reform yourself, thereby becoming a catalyst in sparking transformation in others? I'm Shilpa Lewis, meditation, mindset, and mindfulness coach for midlife mompreneurs, and you are listening to Omnipresent Awareness, the podcast that will inspire you to use your story to serve humanity in not just healing, but thriving as souls, each fulfilling their highest purpose. Namaste. Thanks for tuning in to Omnipresent Awareness. This is your host, Shilpa Lewis, and welcome back. Okay, so I'm running a little challenge as I'm trying to get more people to discover this podcast and the conversations that inspire those who value personal growth. And the best way to do that is to leave reviews. You can leave a review on Spotify, Google Podcast, or Apple Podcast. So here's a little request from me to you. If you feel like you have received any value at all from these episodes, then please write a little review and take a screenshot of your review. Once you've done that, email that screenshot to me at omnimindfulness@gmail.com. Once I get your screenshot, you will receive one of my infographics. Spark your meditation practice through Sankalpa. Sankalpa is the Sanskrit word for intention setting. Along with this, you will receive a link to my guided meditation where you can daily practice intention setting with some inspirational music and breath work. This infographic, along with the guided meditation, is guaranteed to have you start your practice for meditation with a spark. It is my gift for you for being a listener, being a supporter, and of course for you to be able to manifest the best meditation practice. So thank you for showing up, listening, and being inspired, and most importantly, taking action. I appreciate you. So again, please don't forget to take a screenshot of your review and send it to omnimindfulness@gmail.com, and I will send you that infographic and the link to the guided meditation. We are now in the season of Seeds of Abundance, which is our third podcast season honoring spring, new mindsets, and abundance. This season will cover mindful money mindset, movement and healing, law of attraction, and embracing the feminine energy. And up next, Tisha Geringer. Tisha has been a fitness industry professional since 1992. She is a certified personal trainer, a foundation training level 1 instructor, and is certified in TRX, Kettlebell, gravity training, and cycling. Like many movement professionals, Tisha has learned to listen to her body. In her own words, I spent my 20s and 30s killing it as an instructor and triathlete, and then my body started sending me signals. Per Tisha, the balance was gone. She realized she had overtrained and ignored so many aspects of her physical wellness. This is when she decided to take a huge step back and create a more complete wellness approach that would take her well into her 80s. She is now on a mission to help others truly tune in to their body and help facilitate others on their own physical transformation from pain to performance. She believes that Even the most extreme athletes understand the importance of balance and how we can still achieve our goals while taking time to focus on the importance of balanced life and a healthy body. One of Tisha's areas of specialization includes foundation training, which is a simple solution to change the way you move and correct imbalances caused by modern habits. And now, here's Tisha. Well, thank you for being here, Tisha.
Hi.
Hi. Share with our audience a little bit about your background in the fitness and movement world.
Wow, I have to remember that far back first. So it all started in college when I got a job at an all-women's gym because I had been taking step classes for some reason, which is not in my blood or my bloodline. Exercise has always been fun to me. So I started taking classes, and then I was there so much, at some point they just asked me if I wanted to work there instead. So that kind of started the whole thing. I started teaching step in early 90s. And then from there, it was kind of what rooted me in fitness, I think, because I was around women specifically. And at that young age, saw what women went through to try to keep themselves looking the way they thought they should look. There was a lot of lessons learned. And then fast forward through corporate jobs, and fitness has just always been a part of it, whether it was a side job or my full hustle. And then I managed a club in Santa Barbara for a while and was able to just kind of bring everything together. It was one of my favorite jobs ever. Have just always taught, got into triathlons, got into running marathons, tried a little bit of everything. And then, as with most people, my body started disagreeing with a lot of the things I was doing and helped me change paths into more mindful movement rather than, I don't know, we'll call it endurance or intense movement, and got me where I am today.
That is awesome. And I know you've been strongly influential in giving me some insights into our body and alignment. I would take workshops that you would teach at FitMill, which is where I met you. In terms of the actual concept of mindfulness, what does mindfulness mean in reference to movement to you?
I think it's changed a lot over the years. I think, like we talked about before, we're now very, and by no fault of our own, more sedentary humans because we work on these things all day. We don't really have a choice. So mindfulness becomes the way you move, period, because our bodies are so used to being in a stationary position for so many hours. And I always told my clients, you can't take your body from the sedentary 8-hour position to loading it with 300 pounds because you want to go to a class where you feel like you need to power lift. Your body has to be ready for that change. So the way we move all day really matters in making sure that we're setting ourselves up for success when we want to do the weekend warrior stuff.
You know, and that did not even occur to me in the days when you'd seen me just show up at our high intensity training. I would have been sitting at the computer, then I hop in the car, I show up, and I'm all like, oh.
Yep. And we want to make up for that 8 hours. So we think doing more is better when your body's still in a pretty compromised state at that point. Like loading it and jumping on it and things that people do, they're not bad, but there's ways to prepare yourself to ask your body to meet the demands you're about to put on it.
Absolutely. Especially during the pandemic, I think my body went into a further sedentary state, and it requires a lot more mental endurance now to pull myself to go, a mindset.
For sure. And it's harder. I mean, we've all adapted to home workouts or Pelotons or whatever got us through that phase of not being able to go do any of that. So I think there's also maybe an overuse of certain things. And my rule has always been moderation is key. You can't do the same things every single day and not expect some type of repetitive motion injury or adaptation your body will automatically have to come up with to be able to do that. Your body's designed for variety.
Yeah, and that's interesting you should say that, because just yesterday I was talking to someone and she talked about how the most natural thing for humans during our evolution was movement.
Right.
And so, and then if you think about early ancestors, the movement wasn't just one linear type of movement. They were probably going to go to the well to get water and then going for a hike to get something else.
Right. Planting food and hunting. And yeah, there was diversity by nature at that point in our lives, which we strongly lack at this point in our lives.
Yeah, and absolutely. And when you mentioned just doing a repetitive thing, the beginning of the year kind of blew up my right knee. Mm-hmm. And I think it was because all I would do is sit on my Peloton bike and push myself.
Right. And the hard part is a lot of people had to resort to doing things where they had no guidance, really. Yeah. Like, you don't know if your bike's set up correctly. You don't know if any of it is actually being done right, because you're just watching a video screen and someone's just telling you what to do. Not that we had a choice. It's better than nothing, but doing that for 2 years in the wrong way could lead to other things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it goes back to even alignment and being aware of the alignment of, is the knee going over the ankle? Right. And is it putting too much pressure?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, so maybe you can now share a little bit of insights into midlife women, which I hate to put myself in that category, but I am there now.
And I'm becoming one next week, so it's perfect timing. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thanks. I think, well, it depends on what you classify as midlife now. I think as we reach 50 and we move into those years, it's mentally hard as well, because we are so good at beating ourselves up. And we're comparing, if you've been in fitness and you've been an active human and this has been part of your life, you're comparing yourself constantly to your 40-year-old self, right?
Oh, yeah.
Which I have done myself. And I think it's more of having a little bit more grace with yourself is so huge. You're never going to have 20-year-old skin. You're never going to have 20-year-old boobs. Mm-hmm. You're never going to there's so many things that are never going back to where they were. And no amount of exercise is going to fix that. So
or reverses graying hair.
Right. All of the above. So I think aging gracefully, I know we've heard it our whole lives, but it's so huge, because the harder you are on yourself, the worse those voices in your head become, the more you believe them. And then that power manifests physically. If I wake up every morning and I'm just happy, I am mobile and I'm able to get on a plane and go to Nashville for the weekend with some friends. And those are the things that should matter at some point. I still want to be able to get a good workout in and enjoy a long walk and do all those things. But the longevity game is much more important to me at this point than ever.
You know, it's interesting you should say that, because I also have changed not changed, but evolved my thinking about who we are. And when you mentioned thinking and how that influences your physiology, I just read by Deepak Chopra yesterday, like, whatever thought you have right now that's negative, it will manifest into your body. So I'm like, well, maybe the body isn't unhealthy, but I can certainly take it there through my thoughts.
Yes. And convince yourself. And I always had a friend, and she was never that person who was overly concerned with the workouts or what size she was, or she was just happy the way she was, but she always showed up looking amazing. She was always dressed to the nines, had her hair perfectly done. Like, she took pride in herself, which to me was much more attractive to the world than whether her clothes were a size 4 or a size 12. No one cared at that, in those moments. And I always think back to those people. I'm like, show up, present yourself the way you want to feel. And then you'll end up being that person at some point. You'll get yourself there. Maybe it's your food choices today will be better because you feel amazing. Your workout, you'll schedule it because you feel amazing, because you've convinced yourself to be that person.
Absolutely. It does require, as you mentioned, as you get a little bit maybe older, sometimes our mental attitude needs to be kept in check so that we are daily showing up for ourselves without beating ourselves up.
And being your own cheerleader. It's super important, because I think as we get older, we lose those cheerleading friends. Yeah. We don't have those big circles anymore, usually by choice. But you don't have that every day, all day, like you did when you went to college or went to work all day with the group of people that could tell you, oh, you look so great today. You have to do that for yourself more so than ever. And it's pretty powerful.
Especially, I mean, I don't like to use the word older because that's still a matter of perspective at times.
Sure.
Yeah, but more mature. But as we get more mature, I do feel like lifestyle or family obligations can change what your network is.
Yes.
And that can change who is around you to cheerlead you. Like when I would show up at the gym when you were there, I felt like I had a lot of girlfriends who would be like, hey, Shilpa, go. And now I'm like, well, I'm on my bike at home.
It changes the energy for sure.
Yeah. As we enter a more mature phase of our life, how do we take those tips or insights so that we are continually growing in a healthy body?
Well, I think taking time out for yourself. I was just having this conversation with a fellow, a friend and business owner who I think people forget to take that time for themselves, which is so important. As you know, like whether it's through Chopra or your own little meditation, or I'm loving so many podcasts with these different holistic gurus who there's little tidbits everywhere. But I think we try so hard to make it fit, even if it doesn't. You know, I've discovered like those high intensity workouts for me aren't my happy place anymore. My happy place is a long walk with my dogs, my family. My happy place is go to the beach and spend some time on alignment work or just a good stretch or a couple sets of stairs. Like it's changed so much. And I think we try so hard to keep ourselves in this box of who we think we are.
Yes.
I'm not a runner anymore. My body doesn't like it. I'm not a super intense CrossFit workout person anymore. My body doesn't enjoy it anymore. So I shift my focus to more holistic things that I can do for myself, like food. I enjoy cooking now because I want to make sure what I'm putting in my body is good for me. And I enjoy quiet time more than ever before. Like, those things used to not matter as much to me because it's all shifted in a huge way.
Absolutely. And I feel like I totally resonate with what you just said. There was a time when you first met me, it was about the high intensity. It was a whole different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I also remember someone that used to go to the same gym with me, and she had just turned 60. And she said something to me, and I was like, oh, maybe I need to keep this in mind. She said, something has shifted in me, and this isn't going to be something I can do. Like, it wasn't like a negative. It was more like I need to try something. And I saw her starting to do yoga then.
Right.
And had you asked me that in my 20s, I would have been like, oh, yoga's so slow. I can't do that. I need the power music, you know? Now I do Qigong. People in the park doing that, I'd be like, oh, that's what old people do.
Right. That's what you do when you can't move. But little do we know, those are the things that help you keep moving.
It is what keeps, and it goes back to the perspective of holistic thinking. I now see myself as energy. Everything is energy. And how do you manage that energy? And that's the Qigong and the vitality through the food that you were talking about.
It makes a big difference. I think there's a really special place you get to with yourself where you realize, like, I still love a really good spinning class. I love the music and the energy. When I need that boost in my week or my life, I will go and take that class and get my butt kicked. And it feels amazing. But I no longer feel like I have to do that 5 days a week. I know when I need it, and I know it feels amazing in the moment, and then it's enough.
Yeah.
And I walk away feeling great, and I go back to it again when I feel like my body's ready to do that again.
It's really about listening to yourself, because I feel like just this conversation alone, I've come out with a new perspective. I mean, I would say 6 months into this year, I'm like, get on that bike. But all I really want to do is the Qigong and a longer meditation. Maybe I actually want to take up hiking now, because I've heard about the medicinal effects of being out in the sun and nature and the melatonin that, because I have sleeping issues. So maybe being out in the sun will help me sleep better.
Yep. I mean, just being at the ocean, I just can't even, there's so many benefits of being outdoors alone. not even the workout part of being outdoors. But if you can put the two together, it's a pretty powerful combo. And look where we live. I mean, not all your listeners get this beautiful place, but why would you not be out there if you could?
That's the thing. I'm feeling bad now because I'm beginning to think that this conversation is going to change how I show up in the next week. My husband goes for a beach walk every chance he gets, even through the pandemic. You may even recognize him. He goes up and down the boardwalk for several miles. He never misses it. And he's always telling me just to do it, Shilpa. It's so great. But now I'm like, okay, Tish told me I gotta do it. I'm gonna do it now.
No, it's true. And you get the best of everything out there. The ocean air, the sunshine, and it's just nice to be out there with people again too, that you get to see people's faces, the energy of not being buried in masks and smiling, saying hello to people. I'm like, this is the stuff that makes you feel good.
And the smell of the ocean and the sea salt. And don't they say something about the ions near the ocean?
Especially if you can get your feet into the water, there's a big energy exchange in that whole situation.
Yeah. Well, you may see me on the beach, or maybe I'll text you saying, do you want to meet up for coffee at the beach?
Well, a coffee walk. I like it.
Yeah. Well, this is great. Anything else you'd like to share about something you may be teaching or doing where people can learn from you?
I still do a lot of work with, as you know, with foundation training, which I worked with years and years. And the ability it has, as do many other movement theories now, it has become more and more mainstream to focus on our imbalances rather than how much we can lift or push or run. If your body's out of alignment, there's so many other things that need to be addressed, period. And your health and your movement comes from the foundation inside your body, not by what your biceps look like or how many abs you have that I can see. So I still focus a lot with that on clients because pain is something nobody wants to live with, and it changes your life. So I still focus a lot on that work. I would suggest anyone look into that work because I think it's very powerful. It only makes you better at anything else you want to do in life, whether it's crazy workouts or marathons, whatever. It's going to keep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's going to keep you moving.
Absolutely. You want to share the name of that organization or the type of?
Yeah, it's called Foundation Training, and their website is the same, foundationtraining.com. They have instructors all over the country, but their course itself, I always told people, is worth it tenfold because you will learn things about your body that make so much sense that you ask yourself, why have I never thought about it in this way? And Eric Goodman that created it is great at helping people understand it in a very applicable way that changes your lifestyle. It's not something you have to do every day. It changes how you move through your day, which makes that so much easier for the general population to apply to their lives.
Yeah, I just remember just taking that training from you, and sometimes you would have us do those stretches at the end. And those stretches were my favorite part.
I just like touch everybody's butt. That's why we did those.
Well, mine was way down there, and you just had to like lift it up.
It's so fun to see the light bulb go on in some of that work, though, and watching people go, oh, wait, I've never felt that before. And that's the greatest part of those kind of movement practices.
Well, next time you teach it, I will. I want to join. I want to join again. Especially now that things are opening up again.
Yes.
Well, any parting words?
Just move. Worry about what goes in your mouth and worry about moving your body. The rest of it is all bonus.
Perfect. And I remember one of the quotes you would often share during training was, what was it, like something about the new sitting is the new smoking?
Yeah. That was its little tag back. It's probably a good 8 years or so, but you know how there always has to be something that gets people's attention. Yeah. And I think they've kind of moved away from that's not smoking in the same way smoking impacts your health, but the daily attention to things is so important as we learn more and more about our body's ability to adapt. Sit at a computer all day, your body adapts to that position. And then you have to teach it how to come out of those adaptations that you've ingrained in it for 8 hours every day, all day long.
And that's why when you said and you shared that it doesn't have to just be one type of movement. So if it could be just going down and doing the dishes or walking to the mailbox or going to the beach for a day for a quick walk, it's just keep it fluid, keep it moving.
And getting out of the chair a little bit, stand at the counter for a little bit, sit in your chair a little bit, sit on the floor a little bit, just keep your body guessing so that the adapting doesn't become who you become.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it sends a different signal to your brain.
Yes. Creates a different demand, which is always a good thing.
Yes, yes. Well, this was incredibly helpful for me, and I really enjoyed just reconnecting with you.
I always love being here, so thank you for the invite.
Of course, I'll invite you again.
And I'll see you at the beach.
Yes, I will see you at the beach. Have a great day.
Thanks, Shilpa.
Thanks again for tuning in. Check out the links in the description, and please subscribe, follow, and share. And continue to be omnipresent.